All right, welcome back, Dr. Dave, Dr. Mike. Hey, before we review the specific details of your recommendation, it's important that you understand that there are essentially two different approaches to chiropractic care. And one of those approaches is known as palliative care. The other is corrective care. And in this practice, we specialize in corrective care. We'll explain the difference between those two.
Yeah, the first type is palliative care, and it follows more of a medical model in that it's used only to be able for treatment of some type of symptoms or crisis. In other words, it hurts here, adjust me here, and I'll come back in when I have another crisis.
So just so you know, this leads to a life of where you're simply managing your health from crisis to crisis. And by nature, that style of care is unstructured and the results are unpredictable.
What we do in this office is very different. We specialize in corrective care. Where corrective care, there's structure to that care with clear objectives. Our first goal is to be able to help you resolve whatever current symptom or crisis that you're experiencing right now, and then correct what's causing those problems and ultimately teach you how to be able to protect that correction. This is going to allow your body to experience its full health potential throughout your life.
For sure. So we're going to address your care in 3 stages. So the first stage is the initial intensive stage, where we'll work together to stabilize your problems, stop the damage, and start the healing process. The second stage of care is the corrective stage, where we will retrain your spine and body so that you can get healthier and stronger. The third stage is the protective stage, and this helps you to protect and maintain your new level of strength, health, and function, and prevents you from sliding backwards and losing all the gains that you've made.
For now, let's just stay focused on the initial intensive care, what we refer to as your first 4 months. So the initial intensive stage of care is where you are now. And for a lack of better term, it's a lot like setting a fractured bone. Our objective is to line up all the parts back to its healthy position, and we know at the beginning of your care, your body is unstable. Your soft tissue has memory, and so it's going to want to try to revert back to its position, its previous position, within the first 24 to 48 hour period of time during your first adjustment.
And because of that, during the initial intensive stage of care, we cluster your appointments tightly together so that we can get ahead of the backsliding process, and that'll establish a forward momentum or a forward progression of your case. And this will help you to establish a rhythm with your adjustment, which is crucial in order for you to get your best results. Now, did you know that your body loves rhythm? And so it's a lot like sleep rhythm. When you go to sleep and you wake up at the same time each day, your energy is at its best.
It works the same way with your adjustments too. When you get the best results is whenever you stay in rhythm with your adjustments. And changing or missing your scheduled adjustments, it will interfere with your process. Now let's specifically talk about your case.
Now for some of you, we took a series of x-rays. The purpose of taking an x-ray is to first confirm a condition called subluxation. And if so, how long has it been in your body? Now we always base our recommendations of care on the severity of the degeneration confirmed on the x-ray. So subluxation patterns are graded in 3 phases of subluxation degeneration. The phases do not indicate the seriousness of the problem, but the age of the problem and how long that's been in the body.
Now we're going to go through these sample x-rays so that we can teach you how to be able to read x-rays, so that when we look at your x-rays, you're going to understand them better.
Let's look at what a normal healthy x-ray looks like. Now right now, we're going to focus on the neck, only because the neck is the most important part of the spine. The process throughout the rest of the spine is similar. Now looking at the cervical x-ray from the side, this is the head. These are the vertebrae. So here is the cervical spine and neck. Now what you'll see here is a normal healthy cervical curvature with the head positioned directly above the body and the ears lined up with the shoulder. You'll see that the vertebrae are stacked right up on top of each other, aligned in this beautiful arc. Now this is what we call the arc of life. Now we call it the arc of life because it helps, one, strengthen the neck, but most importantly, creates a perfect canal for the brainstem and the spinal cord to sit inside of those vertebrae, so that there's no stress on that spinal cord. This arc acts as a spring that protects the disc. These discs, they are nice and thick. There's plenty of room between the vertebrae for the nerves to exit out of the spinal cord in between each joint level. That is an optimal, healthy, functioning spine.
So now, when you have subluxation or your vertebrae are misaligned, we lose that healthy cervical curve and we enter into what's called phase 1 of subluxation of degeneration. Here's an example of phase 1 of subluxation. Notice the head position. What do you see? Is the head balanced over the shoulders? See here, the vertebrae have lost their healthy alignment and the curve has straightened out now. Notice that we have drawn that green line. This is where a normal x-ray should be, a normal healthy spine. And here's a red line, which traces those vertebrae that have moved now out of position. First thing to note is that the healthy spring is gone. This neck is now 7 times weaker than this normal neck here. So this neck now is stressed in a position and the structures have begun to break down about 7 times faster than the healthy neck here. We now know that this has been in the body anywhere from 1 to 5 years to get as bad as this is. And you know what? No child should ever reach this phase of subluxation of degeneration. It is totally preventable. That's why we check the children of our patients to make sure that they never have to reach this phase of degeneration. If it's caught here, it's readily correctable. It takes anywhere from 4 to 16 months to be able to correct it, and these patients can respond beautifully.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if it's not caught or corrected here at phase 1, it will get worse and it'll move to phase 2. And what you'll notice at phase 2, again here, there's a green line and there's a red line. The green line represents the healthy normal spine where it should be, and the red line represents where the spine is moved out of position. Can you see that? Now, what position is the head end? How about the curve? You notice not only is the healthy curve lost, but it's actually reversing. In this position, the neck is weak now, and it's breaking down very rapidly. And there is a tremendous amount of stress on the spinal cord and the nervous system. This is an extremely unhealthy state. In this example, you'll notice the structure of the neck is breaking down. So what you'll see here are what's called bone spurs, or called osteophytes or syndesmophytes. They form as the body's effort to fuse the joint and to create some kind of stability. You've probably heard of this when people refer to this as arthritis or degenerative disc or joint disease. This is what it looks like on an x-ray. Now, what do you see when you look at the disc base? What do you think about what's happening to the nerves that are trying to exit the spine at this level? How about those nerves that are feeding information to the organ, glands, and body parts? Do you think these nerves are compromised? Now, when you see nerve irritation and degeneration of this severity, we know the subluxations have been in the body anywhere from 5 to 15 years to get this bad. If we catch it at this phase, it's still correctable. The body's breakdown is not erasable. These people can still heal and function, and it's also all about relieving the pressure on these nerves. Now, if it's caught at this point, it can take anywhere from 1 to 3 years to correct it. But if these patients address it here, they can still also respond beautifully.
Now, if it's not caught or if it's not corrected at this point, it's going to move into phase 3. What do you see in phase 3? Look at the head position. Notice how forward it is. What about the curve? You can see a complete collapse of a healthy cervical curvature here. It's totally obliterated. The red line that traces where the neck has moved out of position, and now you can see that it's affecting the nerves, the spinal cord. Notice the vertebrae, they're starting to fuse together and they're spreading like cancer. As the neck becomes less and less stable, that degeneration will start to accelerate. Unfortunately, at this point, it's too late to correct this. That person has waited too long, degenerating over 15 years, and is no longer a correctable situation.
You know, our job as chiropractors at this point is just simply to stabilize the problem and to keep it from getting worse. And of course, to make them more comfortable and improve the quality of their life. But this is upsetting as doctors to see this, because chances are that this person has been treated for some kind of symptom surrounding this problem probably for 15 to 20 years, but no one has told them how to correct it. Now it's no longer correctable. And we see these patients walk into our clinic every day.
Now I know you have some questions. Maybe the first question is, did you find subluxation on my x-rays? In other words, the cause of my symptoms or my problems. The second question might be, did we catch it in time? In other words, what phase of subluxation am I in? And the third question might be, what do I need to do next? And we will address those questions today.